This is what it's like going to KCTV5 and doing a segment. Hi. How's it going? Whoa, this is quite the group. How are you? I'm here to see Courtney Ramsey. How are you?
I'm good. I'm here to do our newscast. What is that? Is that
It's Google Glass.
Yeah. Google what?
Google Glass.
You come up with the coolest.
There may be a couple big things behind it. We're really.
Let me get some wine.
9, 10. Okay.
Yeah.
See your passes, please.
Yeah, look at this. Whoa, it's all under construction.
I know.
That's wild. Huh.
Oh, wow.
Did this just happen today?
No, it happened last week.
Oh, okay.
Reese.
Oh.
Cool. Sorry, we lost you.
I know, it's so hard. Sorry, Mom. We good. Hey, how are you?
I think so. What's going on? How are you? Which one do you want me to grab?
That one.
This one?
Yeah.
Welcome back to KCTV5 News at 4 a.m. Another hot one. We're at 94 degrees for wind, but winds of change apparently coming around. There is one phone they can't trade in yet. The new iPhone is out, but doesn't get the same kind of attention as it used to.
I was like, what are we doing here?
Oh, anchor.
So I'm recording Google Glass behind the scenes. So say hi to everybody.
Hello. Hello. Let me fix my teeth. Oh no, I can do that now.
All right.
Let me close and shut that down.
Okay.
Okay, so what else do we want to
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. We can start off with what was announced.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go
I've
through.
been gone all day. I don't even
No,
know,
you're
but I
fine.
think we
You're fine.
pretty
That's what I'm here for.
pretty much.
So there's two phones. You can ask. So I'll go through each phone
Right.
one at a time. So I'll start it off by there's three things really basically announced. I'll go through each phone. And then at the end, if you can ask
What
what
else?
wasn't announced,
Okay.
or was this all expected and predicted, and that sort of thing. Because I have some points I want to make there.
Did you want to talk about Google Glass or no?
Well, we'll probably do that for. That could be a whole nother segment.
I know. I mean, are you going to
really-
wear it on the air?
What's that?
Are you
Yeah,
going to wear it?
if that's okay.
It is so strange.
Then I can
I've not
provide like a
seen one
cool
in person.
behind the scenes, and that way everyone can see
I've
the.
not seen this yet.
I know it's just been
Don't
so.
we need to talk about that real quick at the start?
Yeah, you could
So
say.
why don't I just say, I noted, I can't help but notice your
Yep.
your new glasses you're wearing. You
Yep.
can say yes. Here's the deal. Do they mean to be saying Google Glasses? They don't.
No, it's actually just called Google Glass.
Singular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. The ironic
See, I
part.
drink, iced tea behind the scenes.
The ironic part. There's not a single piece of glass on this thing. It's all plastic. But it's called Google Glass.
That is
Yeah.
funny.
Yes.
Is it funny for your eyeballs?
You know, it's set in a way where it's on your nose and up. So.
Are you not seeing it?
Yeah, so it's like not in our direct line, in my direct line of sight. So when we're talking, it actually is pretty natural, except for the fact that I've got a giant white pair of glasses on my head. But you know, you can imagine if everyone were wearing some form of glasses like this, it would be, you know, just fine and that sort of thing. So
Yeah. Well,
this is kind of crazy. All right,
Does it feel
now I'm
weird
like
here?
an official
Take your
news
cup?
anchor. Yes,
Okay.
I'll put that right here.
Okay. I think we're about ready.
All right,
If you are.
I am always ready.
Okay. It is out. Apple unveiled the latest iPhone today, and it comes at a key time. Apple's share of the smartphone market has slipped since the death of CEO Steve Jobs, and the tech giant is looking to, of course, change that. So our tech expert Ramsey Mosin is here with some insight on the announcement, but I can't help but notice you're clearly wearing some new glasses here.
Yeah, so this is Google Glass. While we're talking about Apple, I probably should acknowledge, you know, viewers can see behind the scenes afterwards. I'll post this online
Okay.
of what it's like through my perspective with Google Glass. And we'll do another segment on
Okay.
Google Glass. I think it's
Clearly
worthy of talking about.
interesting. Yes, but now let's move to today. And
Apple.
What was announced today? What was said?
So 3 major announcements. iTunes Radio, which essentially is like Pandora, and then 2 new phones. So the iPhone 5 prior to today was the most recent Apple product. today we got the iPhone 5C, which stands for color, and the iPhone 5S. So let's break down what each of these phones
we remember
are.
the 4S, but we never have seen a 4C
And
before.
yeah, the iPhone 5C is a new variant that Apple has got. So essentially the C stands for color. It's basically the iPhone 5 in different colors. So they put a plastic back to it.
Covers on their phones anyway, so why does this?
You know, that's a good point. Yeah, that may or may not matter, right, because of the different covers.
Okay.
Now, Apple will be selling different covers that they make. It's essentially the same thing as the iPhone 5. The big story here, though, with the iPhone 5C is that it starts at $99 and goes to $199.
So a little cheaper.
So it's
price-wise.
much cheaper than the iPhone
Okay.
5. So that was intentional. They're wanting to get more people on the newer hardware at a cheaper price.
Okay.
But then they also introduced the iPhone 5S. So this was the big, big announcement that
And this
everybody was
says more
waiting
of the
for.
hardware updates.
This is more of the hardware updates. The things that people are going to notice here, if you want to upgrade to this phone, what to expect are it's faster, it has 2 hours longer battery life, for a total of 10 hours
Helpful.
of battery life. The camera is a very big story here. It's actually gone from 5 megapixels to 8, and the sensor has been improved. So photos are going to look really good
And
on
you know
this
what?
particular
the iPhone
phone.
5 photos were already.
They were already good.
very
Yeah,
good.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it actually has a new feature called it's slow motion video, where it can take 120 frames per second. So essentially, what that means is if you want to capture, who knows, your kids doing amazing stunts outside, or even if you're at a sporting event and maybe want to capture something a little more in depth and in detail, you could get some pretty cool results with the new camera.
Interesting.
It is faster, so there are slight updates to major updates in their opinion, but updates in regards to the processor and how fast it is. But for the most part, the camera and the speed of the phone are the big stories here. Now, one thing that everybody's going to get is called iOS 7. It's the new operating system, and actually that comes out later this month. That's going to be on September 18th.
Okay.
Everyone who has an iPhone 4 and above or an iPad 2 and above will be able to download the new software. And this software runs on all both phones. So the iPhone, this is a lot of jargon to throw out, iPhone 5C and the iPhone 5S will both have iOS 7. So completely new look and feel for your phone, the operating system, the menus, and things like that.
Okay.
That's coming out later this month, and that's free.
Okay.
But in terms of release dates for both
Yeah. When will we
these
see
new
these
phones,
things?
so September 13th is when you can pre-order it online.
This weekend.
Yep. And then September 20th is when they'll be out in stores and likely shipped and at your
So
doorstep
what do you
if you
think?
pre-order.
Knowing the price point, knowing the upgrades, is it worth a trade-in at this point if you have an iPhone 4 maybe?
So that's a good question. If you use the camera a lot, it's going to be hard to not want the better camera and to use the new video features. But for the average everyday user, I would
For
recommend.
the phone user.
Yeah, for the
Yeah.
phone user,
Maybe not.
go into the store, kick the tires on it. But I can't say it's a must upgrade until you see sort of the speed of the phone and how fast it operates. It may not be needed. And the iPhone 5C may be just sufficient if you're upgrading from the 4 or the 4S and you just want something a little more cheaper and affordable.
Yeah. Maybe so.
Yeah.
Maybe that price point will sell you. All right. Lastly, just real quick, anything you didn't hear today that you were hoping they might?
Yeah, so
Announced.
here's what's surprising. There were a lot of rumors that Apple was going to release a watch. So that's the big thing in
Right.
tech right now, is a watch that pairs with your smartphone. They didn't announce that.
Nothing.
There were no updates to Apple TV. There were no updates to the iPad or any MacBook updates as well. And a lot of people thought the iPad mini was going to get a Retina version, but I don't think we're going to see that until next year. There's a slight chance that maybe during the holiday season that they make updates to your iPad, because that's the next natural progression that we
Sure.
see.
Sure.
iPad Retina and the mini iPad Retina.
Yep.
But surprisingly, it was all iPhone today.
Yeah. All right. Ramsey Mosin, thank you so much for stopping.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be on the lookout for it.
Cool. I thought that went well. I know, right? And it's gonna be pretty wild to see the behind the scenes footage of like the behind the scenes footage. So do you want to see
It's got, I bet this big earpiece on my ear. Oh, it says stop recording.